Sam Watson. Tell us a little bit more about Equiloom, Sam. You are a proud Equiloom rider. Just give us an insight as to what it is all about.
They are a company all about bringing nature's light, that quality of light that we get from nature, making sure that is there for the horses, whether they are stabled, whether they're in the middle of a long winter or whatever it is, that they're not being deprived of any of that quality of light. Obviously, as we know as humans, that we have a circadian rhythm. We are responsive to light. It affects us mentally, it affects us physically. So that the areas that I love about Equiloom as a performance rider is, I think, that muscle growth and that muscle recovery. I think the physical side of it, being able to help my equine athletes to perform and to recover well, both of those hugely affected by it.
Oh God, it's so exciting.
Happy Hail Bob Day.
It is a happy Hail Bob Day.
Hello, the Curse of Durham.
It's the best finishing score we've seen at 5-star level.
That was our elo coming into the competition.
Eventing manager is back.
Best show that we have, Alphabetti Spaghetti.
Looking forward to seeing quality horses.
Still a great day for Ireland.
Thank you very much for coming on the show.
I mean, you're a bit of an eventing geek just like us.
And it's time to get on with the show. Welcome to the Equiratings Eventing podcast, and listeners, it is the first of our preview shows for 2022. Very kindly, our preview shows this year are supported by our great friends over at Equiloom, and this show we will be focusing on the riders. So I have brought together three of the greatest minds in eventing. I'm excited about this panel. The boys are on the subs bench this week. Listeners, I have brought out the girl power. I will start by introducing a very special guest. She has been on the show a few times before, but we have brought her in for one of our big preview shows. None other than the very lovely Felicity Collins. Felicity, thank you for coming on the show.
No problem. I'm very excited. This is something a bit new for me. So yeah, no pressure. I feel like I might get a bit competitive, but...
Well, I will be honest. So one of our most popular shows at the end of last year was 2021. What did we get right? Well, we looked back on these preview shows and basically analysed our performances. So I do feel that actually the pressure is building every year that we do these. I'm not making you feel any better about the situation, so I'm going to move swiftly on. I was going to make you feel better then, and then apparently I was just making it worse. So our second guest is none other than a young lady who is very soon to have her own show on the podcast, Rosie Russell. Good to have you back.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to this, although it's quite hard to pick some names. It's tougher than you think it would be.
It is. I always find that I find my first reaction, I go with my gut, and then I think, okay, that's a bit predictable. I have to mix it up a bit. And then I start to think of other things and other people and other situations that might arise, and essentially I'm indecisive at the best of times. So I am flying by the seat of my pants, listeners. I have a few ideas, but I don't know who I'm exactly going to go with. So this could go anyway. Now, last year, she was a huge hit on our preview show. We basically discovered that she was the only one of us that spoke any sense at all. Georgia Patrick has been racking the spreadsheets, the databases, Equiratings once again, and is going to talk some sense into us all.
Well, I mean, Nicole, you know me. That message came through to me of like, would you like to just come on a preview show? And I was like, I'm in, Nicole. I've got my spreadsheets. The first message I put into the group about this podcast was like, that's great. Now let's go dig into some spreadsheets. So I'm here.
Is basically the spreadsheet queen. I mean, it's seriously intense piece of work. And I have no doubt that she will have done her research. So is going, whereas I'm flying by the seat of my pants, as I said, GP is actually going down the data-driven, sensible route. Last year, she was proven completely and utterly correct. But look, it's a new year. It is a new Equiloom preview show. Let's see what will unfold. So today we are focusing on the riders. And listeners, we have got 4 categories for you. So who will be world champion? Who will be the FEI world number 1 at the end of the year? A soon-to-be 5-star winner. Now, this is a new category for 2022, and it is essentially a name of somebody who will win a 5-star in 2022 that has not already won one in their career. Now, obviously, all of the 5 stars could be won by people, Oliver Town and Tim Price, that have won 5 stars previously. But this category is about finding the next 5-star debutante winner, if that makes sense. So last year, for example, Molly Summerland won the Moulin. So that was her first 5-star victory, and Gemma Tattersall won Bicton, her first 5-star victory. So both of those names, if you had picked them last year, would have got you the point. I mean, we're not playing for points, but it would have been good answers. So that was the third category. Then the final category is a young gun. So we want your future star who is no older than 22. So it can be their first year out of Young Riders, but no older than that. So they are our 4 categories. Felicity, I'm going to let you pick which category we take first, seeing as you're a guest.
Oh, okay. Let's start with the young guns.
Okay.
I'm not really young anymore. I'm like 2-3 years out of Young Riders, which is quite depressing.
This was what. So I was doing my prep, and I was like, "What age? Like, what date of birth do I need to look for that are younger than this?" And I do my calculation, and it says 2000. And
oh, so bad.
Disappointed is what came to mind. I was like, "This is all 2000 babies."
I know.
I don't know. Rosie is.
Rosie is
there.
2000 baby.
I'm 1999.
Oh,
Okay. We're safe.
Okay, you're safe. Right. Okay, so we're going to start with the young guns then. So it is somebody no older than 22 this year. Felicity, I'll let you go first. Who is your young gun to watch in 2022?
Okay, so I've always, obviously having been in Young Riders and then there was COVID, I've always sort of known who was around the scene. But with the Europeans obviously being missed in 2020 and then in 2021, not every nation went last year. So I know the Brits didn't go. It kind of makes you realise that a lot of the people that I might have picked are actually older now. They're like 23 or older. So I actually have picked Isabel Cook, Tina's daughter.
Okay.
So I believe Izzy is, I think she's under 18. I don't know whether she's got another year in under 18s or maybe even 2. But I'm pretty sure she's well within under 21s. And I know that she's had quite a lot of good results in the under 18 classes last year. And one thing I noticed about her is that she's got a pretty good string of horses. She's not just got one horse. She's got quite a few. She's had some really good results at intermediate. I think she was well placed in the under 18 championships at Bishop Burton. And I also noticed that, I don't know if I'm correct in saying she'll have the ride for the season, but I think she's actually riding Tina's horse Calvino, the ex 5-star campaigner. So if she's got him for this year, then that could be quite interesting if she'll be doing under 21s with him.
Excellent shout. She is a 2005 baby, so she is absolutely well within this category. That is a great shout, actually. I saw her a few times last season, and she, particularly cross country, you can absolutely see her mum's influence in her, but she also just has real grit, real determination. She's a really, really talented girl, and I think she's extremely keen.
I would say that she also just, to me, seems, although she's Tina's daughter, she seems extremely dedicated and hardworking. She seems a lovely girl, which, always helps. And, yes, she's got Tina's ex 5-star horse, but I know that she's got a lot of others that are not the easiest and they're a bit tricky, and she does a really good job with them. So, got respect for her in that sense, for her age, producing young horses and naughty ones.
And I also think that people take for granted that you get a 5-star horse, but that does not mean you're getting an easy ride. Those horses have obviously been to 5-star. You don't get their kind of kick along really easy. You have to know how to ride them, and you have to be there.
And also, to be totally fair, there is that level of expectation that sits with being Tina Cook's daughter, and that is, that adds an extra level of people watching, people expecting. I always remember we had the most amazing show with Lissa Green, who spoke very candidly about her sort of junior days and growing up, and it had a real impact on her sort of future career, and the expectation that people had on her on being Lucinda's daughter was massive, and I think it makes you look at it in a very different light. Go back and listen to that show, listeners. It is definitely well worth a listen. But okay, Izzy Cook, I think that is a great start. Rosie, who is your young gun?
I've gone for a rider from Germany. 20-year-old Annalena Schaff.
No, why have you gone for Annalena Schaff? That was my pick.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Nicole. She's incredible, though. She's world number 41 at 20 years old. She won the team gold and individual silver at Young Rider Europeans in 2021.
And I think coming out of that German squad as well, they've got the track record of producing those top-level riders as well.
Yeah, definitely. And she has a horse called Fairy Tale 39, and they won their first 4-star short together on a score of 29.3, which to win at your first 4-star short, I think is quite incredible. And she also won the 6-year-old World Championships last year.
With Laguna.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
That's such a good shout.
And actually, her dressage score at the Young Rider Europeans, she finished second behind Greta Busaka, but she had the leading dressage score of 21.5. She also has a really interesting horse called Debbie, who was a horse that I thought was campaigned by Nicholas Touzon, but I think I've just made that up. He did ride a horse called Debbie. Apparently not this one. Never mind, move swiftly on. I will be saved from myself by none other than George Patrick. GP, who have you picked?
So a couple of names that kind of came along while looking at it. Calvin Bachmann, obviously show favourite. Name comes up whenever we talk about young riders.
Young. Yeah.
Still in there are young. Then the kind of next name I met along the way, Alice Casburn. I thought this was going to be the name that would come up. Obviously, Nicole did a podcast with her earlier in the year.
I put her down. She was my second one, but I didn't want to be greedy.
That was back end of last year. She made her 5-star debut in Po.
So interesting fact on that is only rider in this group, in these under 22s, to have done a 5-star. And actually also came second at Blair, which puts her in a group of only 3 riders to be second or win, but there are no wins at 4-star long. Any guesses?
Just slightly. So when you say a group of these riders to have gone to 5-star.
So the only current under 22 rider, she's the only one that's been to 5-star.
GP, you have been racking the spreadsheets.
Of course I have.
That's quite cool. Okay, so Alice Casburn, the only one of those that we could mention in this category that has been to 5-star.
It's been to 5-star. And then that takes me on to riders that have finished second or better out of 4-star long of these riders again, which is Heidi Coy, which absolutely love her, but she obviously, another show favourite, one of Spike's favourites, gets mentioned a lot. Alice, and then the rider that I'm actually bringing up for this show. Finally.
These aren't the rules, GP. You can't just name 5 or 6 riders. You have to pick one and stick.
Well, I am. I'm just giving you the journey that I took to get. I'm taking you through my journey, Nicole.
Right, okay.
To my actual only rider I'm naming. I'm sticking of Mia Farley. And a name that this group won't know. She's a US rider based out of California. And you might have heard of her when she came second at Fair Hill 2019, just behind Erin and Paddy the Caddy. FOD'd that year, solid dressage. And actually, 2019, the year she stepped up to 4-star, goes through those shorts and then goes through her first 4-star long, wins it. She's actually on the US under 25 emerging athletes team this year as well, with her horse BGS Firecracker.
Okay. I will say.
How old is she now? If she was winning a 4-star long in 2019,
she is
22 this year.
So she was 19 or 20.
She is a 2000 baby. She's 22 in April. I would say that is an absolutely spectacular shout, Georgia. I am very impressed, and yeah, very, very good. Has a BGS Firecracker actually came back out at Tryon, but the 4-star short back end of last year had a quieter time, having missed the whole of the 2020 season. So many people did, but hasn't been competing internationally since that very good Fair Hill runner-up slot in 2019 that you were mentioning there. So she's got another very good horse called Phelps, who I imagine will step up to the 4-star long level this year. Okay.
Yeah, 9-year-old and kind of being consistently in those 20 dressage, which is actually what you want from your horses.
Yeah, very good. Very good, Georgia. I will give you that one, 100%. Right, the pressure is on. You haven't really left many for me you guys. You've kind of named as many as you could name. I will actually say, so I had two different options. I was going for Annalena Schaaf, but Rosie's taken her. So I will go with the young lady who I'm going to go predictable. The young lady who beat her in those European Championships, the Young Rider European Championships. It is none other than Greta Pusaka. And she is the most extraordinary young rider. Last year, Scrabble OLD went to 6 internationals, never outside the top 5, 3 wins, including those Young Rider Europeans. Will be stepping up to the 4-star level this year. We did a very lovely show with her. The horse was actually one of our contenders for Echo Ratings Horse of the Year last year. Did a lovely show with her before Christmas. I could not have been more impressed. She is just a very, very, very nice, talented, hardworking young girl. So that was mine. But a special mention for Ibble Watson from Team GB, who had international win last year with Candito at Hartbury in the 2-star, and then stepped up to 3-star. Has another very nice horse in Aristosles Z as well. So I'll give a little mention for her. But the one I'm going for is Greta Pusaka, who I will admit, listeners, is highly predictable for me. But never mind. I will go with that quite happily. Okay, so quick run around the houses. Georgia went for Mia Farley. Rosie went for Annalena Schaaf. Felicity went for Isabel Cook, and I have gone for Greta Pusaka. They are the young guns, listeners, for you to follow. Okay, let's go from one end of the spectrum to the other. So who will be the world champion in 2022? So who is going to head to Bretoni for the FEI World Championships in Rome in the middle of September and take the top spot on the podium? Ros Cantor is the defending champion. The Brits are obviously looking very strong, but strong challenge from the rest of the world. Georgia, I will let you have first pick. I think I know who you're going to go for, because there's only one person, one combination that the Echo Rating spreadsheets would have flagged up to you this early.
Yes, so world champion was sort of the one that I was winning. I'd done the other 3 sections and I got to this one and I'm like, it is really open. I'm going to go to the only thing that I know we've done this year in real ready prep for it, which was the prediction centre that was run for the overview show. And unfortunately, in great predictability, of course, Michael Young and Chipmunk is who I'm going for. They're going to right their wrongs from the Olympics and they're going to get that medal and give them their first 5-star win as well.
Okay. You can't really argue with that, to be honest. I think on this one, if we all say the same name, then it would be okay. But Rosie, who have you gone for?
I've gone for Piggy March and Brookfield Innocent. She made it round Bicton inside the time, and I think that Bretoni is going to be a very strong cross-country test time-wise, and Bicton's very hilly, so it kind of matches up a bit. And I think that, she's got a lot of championship experience under her belt. I think she's going out there to win it. And a little fact I found about Bretoni, I don't know if this influences how many people can't make the time at Bretoni. It's 500 metres above sea level. And if you compare that to like the UK, like events like Bicton, 75 metres above sea level. So does the altitude affect air and if they make the time or not? I can't answer it, but I just thought it was an interesting thought.
I mean, Rosie, you mentioned this to me earlier and you're like, is it true? And I honestly have absolutely not a Scooby. But I would say if it is altitude, then perhaps it has an impact. And we will put the question to Spike the Vet at some point.
Good idea.
Get his take on it.
I think certainly the Italian foothills are going to make a difference, and altitude, we know in humans does make a difference. So of course in horses you're going to want to have that bit of fitness in them, and you won't want to be light on it. So I think Piggy March is certainly a good.
The interesting thing I'd say is I would have thought Blair would be quite high above sea level.
I haven't looked up Blair. We'll have a little research.
Rosie's obviously got like a special website that she goes to that gives her this kind of information, listeners. But I think that's a bold choice, very bold choice. Part of the team gold medal winning British team from Avanche, individual silver. The hardest thing for me, I think, is actually picking that British team, because it is going to be a really, really tough team to break into. You've obviously got the guys who went to Tokyo. You've got the guys who went to Avanche. You've got those who could feel pretty disappointed not to have been in either squad, to be honest. And you've got anybody that throws up a very good performance in the first half of this year as well. So it'll be interesting to watch that. Rosie, have you found Blair sea level?
134 metres above sea level.
See, I'm seeing it 161.
Ooh.
And so the part that I can't quite remember with Blair is how close it runs up. Because obviously behind it is Blair Athol, which is the hill that's there. And that does go up to 63 metres.
Isn't that the really, really, really big thing that sort of overlooks Blair Castle?
Yeah, so that would be the back of it. So I'd imagine the highest that they probably get up to in the international is probably over 160 metres, but still nowhere near where we're going for.
Okay, all right. So Brookfield Innocent, essentially, with some very fun fact in there about the sea level in Bretoni. Felicity, who are you going for? Who is the world champion?
So I'd love to see Ros defend her title with All-Star B. And I think, even with that blip at the Europeans, I think they're still, more than capable. And I think, obviously, if she runs at badminton, has a really good run there, then they are still a really hard combination to beat. Yes, with the hills, Albie's strong, but even though he's older, he just seems to be getting better with age. Like he can make time round some really fast 4-star shorts, and also the 5 stars. So I would love to see her defend her title, but I'm being a bit naughty here because I'm sort of saying that and then I'm going to mention someone else. So I would love to see her defend her title, but is a bit unlikely, isn't it? Someone winning 2 in a row. So to try and change it up a bit, I think Tom would have a really, really good shot. Tom McEwen on Toledo. Again, similar to Albie, is a horse that can do everything and anything. Yes, okay, the dressage at the Olympics was a little bit below par, but I feel like that's a real one-off and also something that they'll probably have learnt from. And I think they'll be on firing form this year. And so, yeah, if he makes that team, which I'm sure he will, I think he'd be incredibly hard to beat, especially as we know he can hold his own at the Olympics, even with a below par dressage score. So think what he can do with pulling off the usual test.
I can't argue with you, to be honest. See, I've got a quick pop quiz for you, hey guys. Only one person has won back-to-back world titles on different horses, I might add. Who is it?
Oh, can you give us a clue of when it was? Was it like before 2000?
Yes, it was before 2000. Probably before you were born, Felicity. I mean, we're talking in the 70s.
Would it have been Ginny?
No, Ginny won it in 1986 on Priceless.
Blythe Tate.
No, it wasn't Blythe Tate. Oh no, he has two people. He didn't win it back to back. Sorry, I was. So only one person has won back-to-back world titles. Ginny did win it on Priceless in Gawler, and then won the same they did the same one in Poland the same year, I think, that was for those who couldn't go to Gawler in Australia. So she won both of those. So technically she won both in the same year. So 2 separate world championships, 4 years apart. Only one person has won it, and that would be Bruce Davidson.
Really?
74 and 78 with Irish Cap and Might Tango at Burley and Kentucky. I would say, though, Blythe won it in 1990 in Stockholm, and the last time it was actually in Rome on the Great Ready Teddy in 1998. So there we go. Okay, so I am going to actually I'm sticking with Tom McEwen Toledo de Casa. I think I'm going in strong on Tom's chances for all of the same reasons Felicity said. He needs to bring his dressage down a little bit here, and he won't have the added benefit of 2 rounds of show jumping, which obviously suited him very well in Tokyo. But I think he has a great shot. The only other one I would say, Dee's not on this show, so I will just put it out there on his behalf of if Ingrid is back.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Asher P. With he that we'll be wanting to watch. So I believe they will be back from, the horse had a bit of an injury last year. Ingrid was obviously out injured, but I think they'll be back this year. So that would be your next one. Okay, and Dee still tells the story in Aachen where Ingrid told him that she was the best horse that she had ever sat on. So watch this space. Okay. Alrighty, let's go on to the next one. Here we are now on, we've got 2 categories left. FEI World number 1 at the end of the year and a soon-to-be 5-star winner. Let's do FEI World number 1. I feel like the soon-to-be 5-star winner could be a bit fruity. So let's go for FEI World number 1 at the end of the year. GP, I have never seen anybody as excited as you were when the world rankings kicked back into gear. They moved back onto the 12-month rolling basis this year.
I really wish she was lying. So quite how excited I was when the press release came through, because I sort of get some of the FEI emails and it comes through that they're like, new release, 12 months is coming back. And I'd been waiting for this for about 6 months. You got through COVID and you're like, they're going to get going. We're through COVID. All of 2021, they kept me waiting to be like, when are we going to 12-month rolling? Jumping came back. That's been going for about 6 months now. And eventing must be coming back. That release came through. January 31, we're back on 12 months rolling.
Not that GP had literally been refreshing anything at all. Not that she'd been like, dunk, 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 just press it again.
Was I seen working out who would be world number 1 when they said it would go 12 months?
No, you weren't at all, were you, GP? No. You weren't doing your own arithmetic. Not you, never. I would also say you were delighted that your own arithmetic did stack up and it was correct.
My biggest one was the price wars that I did the maths and Janelle came out on top and I went, they've both had stunning years. I thought Tim was going to come ahead, but I double checked, triple checked, and the price wars were the right way around.
There we go. Okay, so just give us a little lowdown on how the FEI World Rankings is calculated, because it is confusing for anybody that isn't familiar with it. And sometimes, even if you are familiar with it, it's very confusing.
So every FEI result gets points. The higher level of competition it is, the more points you get. So Olympics and World Championships get the highest tier, and they all kind of come down after that. You then take your best 6 FEI points from the last 12 months, and those are then added to give you your FEI score. And then each month they're updated, and it takes away 12 months previous worth of points.
Yeah. So, for argument's sake, when those that are carrying really good Tokyo points will lose them in August or September, I guess, depending on when the dates are taken from. Is it taken from the start of the competition?
Yes.
So they would lose them in August. GP's making a face at me. They'd lose them just after Tokyo was 12 months ago. But it's the same as, obviously, we didn't have any badminton or Burley last year. We did have a Bicton. And it is worth noting that European Championships, even though they are technically a 4-star, are awarded 5-star points because they are a championship. So Avanche would get 5-star points, even though it was a 4-star long. So they would get, Nicola Wilson for winning Avanche would get the same number of points as Boyd Martin, for example, for winning Maryland 5-star. The Young Horse Championship, so Le Lion d'Angers, is a 3-star long format, and they get awarded 4-star long points because it is a championship. So the Olympics and the World Championships actually get points and a half, is it? They're like next level to 5-star because
they're sort of just under points and a half.
So your Olympics and your World Championships are huge points, basically. Okay, so who is going to be the FEI World number 1 at the end of the year? Oliver Townend is the current FEI World number 1, has been for some time now, obviously all through COVID, but he will be wanting to hold on to that top spot. Can anybody knock him off the top spot? Rosie, what?
I'll be predictable and say that Oliver can hold it for another year. I mean, when he was world number 1 back in 2021, that was his 4th consecutive year as world number 1, and he's the only rider to have 4 years in a row. So now this is his 5th. The rider before that who held 3 years in a row was, of course, Michael Young. So I'll be predictable and I'd say Oliver Townend, but I do think there's another rider that could creep ahead.
Is that because Roz was world number 1? in 2019.
But she didn't come into 2019 as world number one.
I've done it. Sorry,
She came, so when she was actually on maternity leave was when the points balanced out and she got her world number one.
So she went into the FEO world number one spot in the May of 2019. Okay, so you don't mean consecutively.
Sorry, yes. Yeah.
Okay, so he's been
End of the year.
Each year, end of
the
year.
year
Yeah.
for the last 4 years. Okay. It's the sensible answer. It's the sensible answer. GP, do you agree? I have no doubt you have been actually doing some maths.
Of course I did, because I was like, I could go with gut. Probably would say Oliver. He's had some stunning years. But I went for the maths of who has the most 5-star horses, because that's really your metric. You've got to be hitting a lot of good results at 5-star, and particularly this year with WEG. So the 2 criteria on it, lots of 5-star horses and likely to be on a team for WEG being the other major one. And
You're going to pick the one I'm going to pick.
well, it depends if you're going to pick Tim Price. Comes up with the most 5-star horses. He's got 7. Oliver's actually only got 6. So just
Only.
from the last couple, from the last 3 years.
Like, only 6? I mean, surely he
They
won't
can
miss
take a
one.
couple off his hands, honestly. I mean, I probably wouldn't be able to get them around like a B100, but never mind.
And obviously he's coming off the back of his win in Po, so actually that gives him points for most of the year. Keep him motivated, keep him up there, likely to get a WEG place, being Team New Zealand. And actually, in the last, so I kind of looked at 2019 onwards, he's had 6 top 3 placings with 4 horses, and Oliver's actually only had 5 and with 2 horses. So Tim's getting my vote for having the spread of horses to get him his world ranking points.
You've forgotten a new weapon in Oliver's arsenal. That sounds a bit dodgy. I'll move swiftly on. Swallow Springs, who will most likely go to Badminton and Burley to pick up very good points for Oliver.
Good point.
That's
I was thinking about this after having kind of declared the number they had. I'm still going to back Tim. This is his
Okay.
year.
You're still back.
Swallow Springs obviously only comes here with 1 5-star appearance previously. Obviously he did finish 5th, but also had 2 rails down in the show jumping. So we'll still need to be watching out on that final day.
Yeah, it's interesting as well, isn't it? Because with like Tim and Janelle being so far up there, but not having the opportunity to have points from the Europeans, but then Oliver didn't go to the Europeans either, I suppose. But just for this year, obviously they won't have those points to carry over to next year, so they're going to have to be at pretty much all those 5 stars and be doing well at WEG, aren't they?
You make a very good point, actually, and it will be interesting to see. I guess they've had additional 5-star results. The Europeans would have been 5-star points. Piggy obviously picked up great points there. The other one who would be an interesting one to throw into the mix here would be Nicola Wilson, who's climbed up into the FEI World's top 10. She obviously carries Europeans points. In theory, if she could hold on to those points as she goes, if she went to the World Championships, they would still be in her tally because they were later, obviously, than she wouldn't lose those until the October. They were later than the Olympics. She actually has a number of horses stepping up to the 5-star level this year to campaign alongside Bulana and JL Dublin, who will be her front runners for her. But I wasn't going to say her. Felicity, have you picked who you would like? Who are you throwing in here?
I have. I'm a bit boring, really. I said pretty much the same thing. I can definitely see Oliver holding on to the world number 1 spot, but I had said Tim would be, not unlikely either because of a lot of having so many horses, and it's the fact for me that, he's got so many horses at the moment that are at that level, older horses, campaigners that I believe we'll probably still be seeing again. The slightly older horses, but then obviously he's got like the likes of Falco, and then he's also got horses that, have got their 4-star long qualifications that he'll be stepping up to 5-star as well. So they aren't yet 5-star horses, but they probably will be in a few months' time. So he's just got such like strength and depth in his team. Like by the end of the year, can you imagine if he keeps all of his 2021 5-star horses and then he's got maybe 2 or 3 more coming through as well? I mean, he might have like 10 5-star horses.
The one I would say with Tim is that Ringwood Skyboy would be 18 now, I think. Bango, I think, was for sale
Yeah, I'm not sure he did a 5-star last year.
I'm pretty certain he was for sale, but I don't know whether he sold or what happened there. But Ringwood Skyboy certainly is very much at the older end, the sort of the latter end of his career. Xavier Fair would be a really interesting one, and picked up very good solid points for Tim actually last year, both Fairhill and Kentucky. So he's got some interesting ones and some younger ones coming through and stepping up. Ascona M, I think. Did I hear Ascona M is back for the year? I'm not sure if she is.
I'm trying to think when they put the photos on of their 5-star and 4-star horses, whether she was
missing. I don't think she was there. But anyway, he has got some really nice young horses coming through, but he possibly will have a few going out the other end as well. Okay, I'm going to be different to all of you. I'm actually going to say Tom McEwen, who is currently sitting in 4th in the FEI World Rankings. For me, the reason I've gone on the same sort of logic as GP with Tim having picked up good Po results, in so much as CHF Kuliza was second at Po, so picked up very, very good 5-star points there. He's obviously got Toledo de Cursa, who will go to badminton and most likely go to the World Championships in Protoni. If he doesn't go to the World Championships, I'd imagine he'll be going to Burley and be looking to get 5-star points there. So he's obviously a front runner for him. But interestingly, he's got a number of very good horses that are sort of well qualified at the 4-star long level that will be stepping up in Bob Chaplin, Braveheart B, Dream Big as well. There's a number of them that will be stepping up the realm into the 5 stars, and I just think he will be ticking away at those points. Interestingly for me, he has big points from the Olympics and he has big points from Po. His other 4 counting scores are really neither here nor there. They're solid, but they're nothing, they're good, but he's actually got 2 exceptional results and the others are sort of have pulled him up to 4th. So that he's got room for improvement. He's not going to go into Kentucky weekend and lose 2 of his big results, for example, which Oliver is going to be seriously looking to protect points from Kentucky.
I agree with you, Nicole. He was my second pick. If anyone had picked Oliver before me, I was going to go with Tom because, like you say, he's got a huge string of horses coming through. And I'm going to put in a very early prediction that I think Tom will win badminton.
Oh, I mean, that's a totally different show, Rosie. Totally different show.
I've got that in my notes as well, just saying.
You're all getting it there. You all just want
to be honest, if he's going to do all of the things that we've said, he was like, Nicole and I think he's going to win the Worlds, and we also think he's going to win badminton, then technically he should be world number 1 by the end of the year.
Very true. Very true. Okay, so the final category is basically, it's a new category, as I've said this year. It is soon to be a 5-star winner. So this is who has not yet won a 5-star that will do so in 2022. So that is presuming that one of the 7 5-stars in the world will be won by somebody who has never won a 5-star before. So there is a little bit of risk attached to it. Might not happen. Chances are it will. Out of the 5 5-stars ran last year, 2 of them were won by 5-star first-time winners. So who wins a 5-star for the first time in their career? I am going to throw my suggestions out early. I've got 2 picks. I've got 2 fairly... I'm pretty happy with mine. I am going to go for the European champion, Nicola Wilson, with JL Dublin. Europeans obviously classed as a 4-star, and she's never won a 5-star, believe it or not. So that is my suggestion. Can I say I'm going to say my second one as well. Harry Mead, Superstition.
Not a happy bunny. Nicole was first on my list, and I actually this year decided, I was like, I'll sort of look at like what horse is really going to get a rider a good one. And I'm kind of there with kind of sub 40 finishing scores and kind of a couple of runs at 5-star, and Superstition came up and I was in there. I was like, Harry's got this.
Harry's got this. Yeah, so they were I think they're 2 great shouts. Obviously relies on Tom McEwen not winning badminton most likely, but got to hedge my bets.
Well, he went to both US events.
He did. Year. I would like to think, I know Mandy Gray, who owns Superstition, is American. So obviously it means a lot to go over, but let's be honest, if you were looking at a rider who really, really, really loved the old traditional 5 stars, like the Badmintons, the Burleys. Harry would absolutely be it, wouldn't he? Like, he loves that kind of thing. So I think he will go to badminton this year.
There's some very good shouts.
Go on then, Rosie. Who have you gone for?
Oh, I've got a few on my list, but
No, don't do that.
I feel like I wasn't fully original. I feel someone else is going to say my second one. So
okay. I'm going to go with a US rider, and I think Tammy Smith is going to win a 5-star.
Which one is she going to win, Rosie?
Oh, she's going to win Maryland.
Oh, Maryland.
So you're assuming she doesn't get a Petone place?
So would you like some breaking news?
Oh,
go on then, Nicole.
My barm, Tammy Smith, heading to badminton.
Ooh, really?
How fabulous.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm only saying that's breaking news. It will probably have already broken by the time this show goes out, because the When Nicole Met Tammy show is actually out now, listeners, available for your listening pleasure on a podcast platform near you. So I only know that because I asked her. And yeah, my barm is going to badminton. So,
okay.
Yeah,
well, she was 9th at Kentucky. She can pull out some really good dressage scores. She got 21.8 there. She had an 11 penalties. And I know you can always say, oh, if I didn't have that pole down, but if she didn't have that 11 penalties, she would have been second. So I think she's in good stead. And she has 11 4-star wins. Not all of them with my bomb, but she has 11 4-star wins. And I think that she's going to get her 5-star win this year.
It'll be her first trip. She's had one trip previously, had a great horse called Wembley, who she took to badminton, but got spun at or didn't get through the first horse inspection. So she'll be hoping for a happier time. Fair play to her. I absolutely think fair play. It would be a very easy thing to say, I'm going back to Kentucky. Hell of a lot cheaper as well to be going back to Kentucky and not have to fly the horse over to badminton. So looking forward to that. Okay, Felicity, who are you going to go for?
So I have put down Kevin McNabb. He's not won a 5-star, has he?
No,
he hasn't won a 5-star. He was just the other one on my list, and hence why I thought someone would take him.
Sorry about that. I thought Nicole might mention him. Nicole's a big Kevin fan, and I know he's been mentioned on the podcast quite a lot recently. I just feel like he's been knocking at the door, hasn't he? And I know he's sold a few, had a few of his younger horses sold, but they wouldn't necessarily be ones that would have been challenging 5-star wins next year, I wouldn't have thought. So obviously he's still got, his top horse. So yeah, I think it depends. I would have thought he would go to Kentucky, but I mean, I have no idea. Maybe a trip back there again, where he could have a really good chance, especially if all the other people are coming over to badminton. And I
there's a couple of German riders that are possibly going to Kentucky that might throw the old division. But yes, I think it's a great shout.
He's just a really good bet for an FOD, I think, and a really solid test as well. So if he on a really good day, I think that wouldn't be surprising. I did actually mention as well Christoph Waller. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it.
Christoph Waller.
Yeah. Obviously, he came second at Moulin to Molly and was top 10 at the Europeans with that amazing grey horse, which I know isn't the easiest, but beautiful horse. And again, on its day, if it behaves in all 3 phases, then I think if he went to somewhere like maybe back to Le Moulin, that would be a really interesting one to watch.
I think that's a very good shout, actually, because that horse, if, like you say, he does behave in the first phase, he could absolutely be in the very early 20s without any surprise. Like, it is the most stunning mover, very flashy.
And it's an incredible jumper as well.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Just go on the knife edge. And it tends to, like, the first half of the horse's test tends to be very good. And then it just bubbles over. So if they get that under control, then he'll be well up there in the first phase. And he would very much fancy his chances. So, yeah, very good shout. Okay, GP last, but by no means least, leave us with the bombshell.
I don't have a bombshell, Nicole.
Yes, Riders to Watch Show 2022. We've stolen all your horses. Who would you like to pick?
I don't have someone, Nicole. You see my little eyes panicking. You said Kevin McNabb. I've got lists. I've got stats. 6 5-star ones in the last 3 years. 100% completion rate. Dressage average 29.0. Finishing score Average 42.2. Amazing. 50% jumping clear rate. Got all the stats there. Now panicking for someone else.
Does anybody else flag up on that list of riders? Or is it the big ones have been named?
Big ones have been named, Nicole.
Okay.
Can I throw one more in the pot?
Oh, the big ones haven't all been named. Rosie is about to one-up you, GP.
No,
Rosie.
Well, it's a bold one, but I really, really think that they're going to have a good year, is Yasmin Ingham.
Yasmin?
I don't know what came out then.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, I did think
Yas Ingham, I think, is going to ace it. If she goes over someone like Lamoulan, I think she's got a really, really good chance. And, you know, she won Blenheim very, very convincingly. And, yeah, I think she could be one.
So, interestingly, the last I heard was that the plan was to go to Kentucky. Obviously, you know, they've got a little way to go. But it would be... I think it would really suit the horse for a first 5-star. Yaz has done a couple of 5-stars now, actually. She's got a few under her belt. I think she was top 20 at Poe a few years ago.
Yeah.
I think she would really throw it down to the likes of Michael Young and Julia Krajewski and Boyd Martin. I'd be fascinated to see how that played out.
Yeah, I think there's still debate between whether he'll be going to badminton.
Felicity, that would be exciting.
I've got the insides, I've got the group chat, so.
Oh, what? What else is on this group chat? What else can we reveal?
Oh God, that would not be for public consumption. It's Molly, Yaz and I, and a good friend of ours, Ivy, as well. So yeah, we talk all things horses then. But I know that she's definitely wants to take Nightline, Leo to badminton. That's pretty much certain, I think. All being well, so yes, she might have 2 there.
Exciting. What about Molly and Charlie van der Heijden? Badminton?
Yeah, I believe that's plan A. Yeah, so obviously he won Lamoulan and absolutely amazing. Then had a tiny injury, but he is literally, you know, speaking to Molly, and he's feeling and looking the best he has ever looked. He literally looks like a stallion. He looks like a Grand Prix dressage horse.
I was going to say, he looks really like he's doing a lot of dancing.
Yeah,
the dressage at badminton could be very interesting.
Yeah, so no, I know she would love to take him to badminton. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Watch this,
Nicole.
Yes,
you put me on the spot. I panicked, but I have found my rider that's going to win a 5-star.
Go on then.
Under the name of Porrig McCarthy and Tokyo Phil. There's been a lot of talk about this horse.
That's bold, GP. That's bold.
You asked for it. So you said, what comes up else under my numbers?
Okay.
So it comes in Porrig.
Tokyo Phil. Love this. Okay.
There's Tokyo Phil. Has had 7 runs at 5-star. And actually, I was putting filters on. I was like, find a horse.
This is Porrig that's had 7 runs at 5-star.
Yeah. So he's had 7 runs at 5-star, averaging less than 30 in the dressage. So 29.5. And actually averaging sub 40 in his 5-stars, finishes at 38.9. And he's going to come in on Tokyo Phil, who actually went to Buccalo last year, came 9th, had a 27.3 dressage, close enough to the time, and unfortunately had a rail, just dropped him down a few places, had a 6th place at Mill Street, and has actually had some good runs recently, lots of sub 30s.
Which 5-stars win, GP?
Which one is he going to win? I think Lamoulan. I think he's going to go over to Lamoulan, have his run there, and win it.
I will be honest, listeners, if you didn't read the MGH Tokyo Phil diaries that were once penned by Lucy McCarthy, nee Lucy Wiegersma, who was Porrig's wife, documenting the horse's first foray into the world of eventing, you have missed out. I have been petitioning with Porrig every time I see him for approximately the last 3 years, basically to bring back those diaries, because Tokyo Phil sounds like such a good fun horse. Okay, I mean, you are not sitting on any fence there, GP. You have jumped into the paddock and...
well, I think when all the kind of like obvious names have happened, and I use the numbers, pull that name for me.
Numbers.
And I know that certainly Tokyo Phil is the name kind of being banded around Team Ireland at the moment as one to watch this year.
And that's not the same horse that was at Bicton that he did well on.
No, that was HHS Noble Cool, who is the grey horse that actually was massively impressive at Bicton in the 5-star.
Very, very good.
Impressed.
I'd like to watch that at Burley. I think if he takes that to Burley, that would be.
I imagine it would be that stamp of horse, Badminton and Burley this year. Felicity, what's the plan for RSH contender Mickey? Badminton?
Well, fingers crossed. I think the entries are opening soon, so that will make it all a little bit more real. But obviously, I probably need to speak to George about this, but the whole FEI points thing and the likelihood of getting in on the first rotation, I'm not sure. It's going to be so competitive because literally everyone is going to be trying to go, as well as people who have had not an extra couple of years to qualify, but Mickey, for example, has been qualified since Blenheim 2018. And then 2019, obviously, I was still in Young Riders, so we went to do them instead. But yeah, so hopefully, if we get in, then that will be the aim. So yeah, he'll do a few runs in the spring. Hopefully, get his excitement out because he's doing lots of squealing and kicking and bucking in unaffiliated dressage tests where he shouldn't be. And there's lots of comments in my dressage test at the moment, which is like 4, and then the comment is kicked out. So yeah, I'm really hoping if we do go, he's not going to embarrass me in the dressage. But yeah, fingers crossed.
He should have picked up good points last year at Bicton.
No, so this is the thing. I only got 4 points for Bicton.
That's a bit depressing.
Oh, incredibly. That's why I was like, I'm good.
I mean, you were top 10 in a 5-star and you got 4 points. That's highly depressing, I would say.
Oh, I got 2 for coming top 20 at Hartbury in a 2-star long with a young horse, and I only got 2 more for coming top 10 in a 5-star. And I appreciate there wasn't like 80 starters or whatever, and if it's on percentages, I think it was like 39 starters, and I think obviously so I was just outside the top 25, so that must be why. But yeah, I might as well have gone and done a 2-star.
And that's actually a really tough new rule that came in to FEI, I think at the beginning of 2020, is that with smaller field sizes, you don't actually get as many points now, that they are brought down, where it used to always be 100 points.
There were people at Poe who were just outside the top 25% still, but still got like 20 times the amount of points that I did. But
well, we will watch this space because entries will open. The FEI, I mean, there is a real ranking list of how do you get into badminton in terms of the numbers, like the way you can get in. So I think first of all, it's FEI points for your horse. Then they've brought in like different things to accommodate for the last 2 years not running. And then there's the additional, you have to have been top 25% or top 50% in 5-star or 4-star long, or like it's very complicated is what I'm trying to say. You need a rule book, listeners. Go and Google it rather than listen to me bumble my way through. Well, look, watch this space. Felicity, fingers crossed for you on that wait list / just getting straight in on the entries. We will be certainly fingers crossed for you. But what a show it has been on the bombshell that Georgia last threw into the mix. I mean, I feel like we have covered the predictable, the crazy, the possible, and the downright obvious. It has been an absolutely cracking show. Rosie, Georgia, Felicity, thank you very much. It has been a pleasure as always. Felicity, we hope you'll come back. It's been very fun having you on the show.
Oh yeah, I'd love to. I literally listen to the podcast every single day, so I'm definitely an event and podcast geek. So always happy to be included on the other side.
It is good to have you with us, Rosie, GP. Always a pleasure. And listeners, we hope you have enjoyed the Equiloom Riders to Watch show for 2022. We have got the Horses to Watch show coming for you very soon as well. We've got loads more coming up on the podcast throughout February, throughout March as well. Let's just say the schedule is looking jam-packed. Rosie is editing quicker than an Energizer bunny, if that is a description that I can use. She's doing a lot of editing because I keep flying new shows through. Rosie, just a quick word on the Grassroots show that will be coming to the Eventing podcast very soon.
Yeah, it's an exciting show. I'm looking forward to diving deep into the grassroots eventing. I'm a grassroots rider myself, and I think it's cool to look at that side of the sport because there's so many really, really fascinating scores. Some of the dressage scores, I was like, my God, like someone finished on 6. 6 is incredible. And I'm really
lucky if I ever got a 6.
I know.
I'd have been delighted if I'd have got that in my dressage test, let alone even started on it.
There's some really, really competitive scores, and I'm so looking forward to diving deep and digging out and showing some appreciation to some of the riders who work so hard and do such a great job at grassroots level.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be shining a real light on them. And as I say, listeners, lots coming up for you very soon. But for now, that is all we have got time for. Tune in next time to the Echo Ratings Eventing podcast. We'll be back very soon. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to the Echo Ratings Eventing podcast.
Have a wonderful day, everybody. And I look forward to having you back with us soon.
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more.
Listeners, we'll speak to you again soon.
Welcome to Quickfire Questions with Fairfax and Favour, where we will be putting some quickfire questions, as the name might suggest, to some of the best riders in the business. And today's guest is the 2020 USCA Leading Rider of the Year. It is Liz Halliday-Sharp. Liz, are you ready?
I'm ready.
What is your favourite meal?
I think it would have to be a really nice steak dinner.
What Fairfax and Favour item is your go-to when you go out for dinner?
I really love the Kensington. It's such a gorgeous short boot, and you can wear it with, jeans or nice trousers or even a dress. So I'd say that's my main go-to.
What is your secret weapon?
Coffee.
What bee is your favourite? Bags, boots or belts?
Am I allowed to say all 3? If it's from Fairfax and
Absolutely.
Favour, I actually do love all 3. So.
There we go. Liz Halliday-Sharp, thank you very much for going under our quickfire questions with Fairfax and Favour.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.